Legacy system integration: how to connect old systems to modern APIs without a full rewrite. Legacy system integration: how to connect old systems to modern APIs without a full rewrite. That's what we're tackling today. If you've been wondering about legacy system integration API, stick around. Now, what is legacy system integration? Legacy system integration is the process of connecting older, often monolithic software systems to newer applications, cloud platforms, or APIs without replacing the core system. The goal is interoperability, making old systems communicate with modern tools in ways they were never designed to do. A legacy system isn't just old software. In legacy system and software engineering terms, it's software that's still actively running critical business processes but is difficult to modify, poorly documented, or built on technologies with limited support. Typical examples: mainframe applications written in COBOL or Fortran, client-server apps from the 1990s and early 2000s, on-premise ERPs with proprietary databases, and custom-built platforms with no API layer whatsoever. The common thread is that these systems hold valuable data and business logic that can't simply be discarded. Dealing with legacy systems and services in cloud computing means finding ways to extract that value without risking what's already working reliably. Next up, let's talk about why a full rewrite is usually the wrong call. A complete replacement of a legacy system sounds appealing in a planning meeting. In practice, it's one of the most common causes of enterprise IT project failure. Business logic embedded over decades gets lost in translation, data migration introduces edge case corruption, and timelines routinely stretch from 18 months to 3 years or more. Beyond direct development costs, you're absorbing training costs, parallel run expenses, and the opportunity cost of engineering teams pulled off other work. For healthcare and banking teams, regulatory compliance adds another layer. Any core system change may require recertification, adding months to the delivery timeline. Incremental integration is the right call when the core business logic is sound and just needs to be exposed to new consumers. The system processes transactions reliably even if it resists modification. A rewrite would require matching hundreds of edge case behaviors. Or the business needs new capabilities faster than a rewrite can deliver them. Next up, now, the 4 integration patterns for connecting legacy systems to modern APIs. Choosing the right pattern is the most consequential technical decision in any legacy system integration API project. Get this wrong and you accumulate technical debt that compounds fast. These 4 patterns cover the majority of legacy system integration examples seen across enterprise environments. The API facade places a thin REST layer in front of the legacy system. The facade handles modern authentication, translates REST requests into whatever protocol the legacy system understands, and returns JSON responses to modern consumers. This is the lowest risk starting point for most teams and the fastest pattern to implement. The legacy system never needs to know it's talking to anything other than its original clients. Named after the plant that grows around its host until it eventually replaces it entirely, the strangler fig routes specific features to new microservices while the legacy system handles everything else. Traffic shifts gradually until the legacy system can be decommissioned. For teams exploring microservices architecture alongside legacy modernization, this is the most sustainable long-term path. It also applies directly to .NET application modernization projects where the goal is cloud-native without a hard cutover. Next up, let's talk about how legacy system integration API works, a 4-phase approach. Q Services has completed 500+ Azure and Microsoft platform projects since 2014. The 4-phase framework below is what consistently keeps integration projects on time and within scope, regardless of how old or undocumented the source system is. Before writing a line of code, the team maps what exists. An Azure infrastructure assessment covers the legacy system's data model, network topology, authentication mechanisms, throughput limits, and failure modes. An Azure security assessment during this phase surfaces hidden risks. Systems that predate modern authentication often have no encryption in transit, hard-coded credentials in application configs, and open database ports on internal networks. The output is a dependency map and a risk register that informs every downstream decision. Skipping this phase is the single biggest cause of overruns in legacy integration projects. Now, what does an Azure Managed Services provider do during integration? Once the integration is live, the the operational question takes over. An Azure Managed Services provider handles day-to-day operations so internal teams can focus on business priorities rather than infrastructure management. A managed services partner monitors API health, tracks SLA compliance, manages certificate renewals, handles Azure platform updates, and provides capacity planning as usage grows. Azure Cost Optimization Consulting is typically bundled into managed services, monthly spending reviews, reserved capacity recommendations, autoscaling policy tuning, and cleanup of unused resources. This is where the ongoing ROI of an integration project is protected over time. Security obligations don't stop at go-live. Regulatory environments in healthcare, banking, and government require continuous compliance monitoring. A managed services partner conducts periodic Azure security assessments, applies security patches, reviews access control policies, and maintains the audit logs required for compliance reporting. Next up, moving on to Power Platform and automation, connecting legacy data to business users. One of the most immediate business benefits of legacy system integration API work is that it unlocks the Microsoft Power Platform for users who previously had no direct access to legacy data. Once legacy data is accessible via a clean REST API, Power Automate Consulting can wire up business process automation quickly, approval workflows that pull data from an ERP, notifications triggered by inventory thresholds, or document generation based on order events. Building multi-stage approval workflows in Power Automate becomes achievable without custom development once the underlying data is exposed through a standardized API. Power Platform governance policies should be established alongside these workflows to prevent ungoverned automation sprawl as business adoption grows. Power Apps development services can build lightweight front ends for legacy data that previously required desktop clients or terminal access. A field technician submits work orders from a mobile app that writes directly to the legacy ERP through the API layer, without anyone touching the core system. For teams evaluating Power Apps versus Power Automate for specific use cases, a clean integration foundation makes both options viable without additional custom middleware. Now, moving on to real-world legacy system integration examples by industry. A hospital information system running HL7v2.x messages can't natively communicate with modern FHIR-based patient portals or telehealth platforms. An API facade translates HL7 messages into FHIR or 4 resources, enabling patient apps to access lab results, appointment schedules, and medication histories without any change to the core HIS. This approach is now a regulatory requirement under the ONC 21st Century Cures Act interoperability provisions, making it a compliance-driven integration case rather than an optional modernization. European PSD2 and UK open banking standards require banks to expose account data to third-party providers via standardized APIs. Core banking platforms weren't built for this. A message broker pattern, supported by Azure Cloud Migration Services for the API infrastructure, lets banks meet regulatory deadlines without replacing core banking systems that have run reliably for 20+ years. Logistics teams face a parallel challenge. A warehouse management system from 2005 may still handle receiving, picking, and shipping flawlessly, but connecting it to real-time inventory visibility platforms or e-commerce order management requires the same integration layer approach. ETL Data Sync handles bulk inventory data exchange while an event bus handles real-time shipment event notifications. Let's talk about how to choose the right Azure migration partner. Not all Azure consulting services providers are equal. The difference between a partner who has done this before and one learning on your project is measured in months of delay and significant rework costs. Ask any potential Azure migration partner, how do you handle legacy systems with no documentation? What is your rollback plan if the integration fails in production? How do you price post-go-live managed services? What is your incident response SLA? The answers reveal whether you're talking to a delivery partner or a vendor trying to close a deal. Look for a Microsoft Certified Solutions Partner designation in infrastructure or digital and app innovation. Q Services is a Microsoft Certified Solutions Partner specializing in Azure, with credentials across cloud adoption, app modernization, and Azure DevOps consulting services. Beyond certifications, ask for references in your specific industry. A healthcare team should speak with other healthcare clients who have gone through similar legacy integration projects, not just generic enterprise Azure migrations. Let's talk about moving on to conclusion. Legacy System Integration API doesn't require betting the business on a multi-year rewrite. With the right pattern, a structured four-phase approach, and a capable Azure migration partner handling discovery, build, and operations, most organizations have working integrations running within 8 to 16 weeks. The key is thorough discovery before design, understanding what the legacy system actually does before building the API layer around it. From there, Azure Cloud Migration Services, hybrid networking, and Power Platform tooling give you a modern integration stack that business users can work with immediately, while the legacy system continues to run exactly as it always has. If you're ready to stop managing around your legacy systems and start connecting them, book a legacy integration scoping call with Q Services. Well, map your integration landscape, identify the right pattern for your specific stack, and provide a phased delivery plan with real timelines and costs.